is going on, guys? How are you doing today? So we're back with a new week of lessons and just guitar nonsense, and I wanted to do this video on just, 5 things that are holding back your playing. That just as a teacher, I'm not trying to like single anybody out, and just the musicians, themselves have experienced all this stuff, and I see it a lot. And I thought maybe this would help some people. It's just 5 ideas. I have tabs down below. They're over my website. If you guys want to grab those, you can. And we're going to jump into this. Now, if you guys want lesson packs that I have for download, they're over my website. Skype lessons, all that kind of stuff. All that info is there as well. And let's go ahead and just jump into this and get going on 5 things that are holding back your playing. So number 1, technique. This is kind of, obvious. There's always going to be this huge debate of like if you need technique and all this stuff. And I think it's, incredibly important. Because the technique, all it does is help kind of translate that what you're hearing in your head into your fingers. It makes the pathway, I should say, much easier. The knowledge part, which we'll get to here in a little bit, also contributes to that greatly. But just technique in general. So what I'm going to do is, and this is not a shred lesson. We're not talking about just like flying around the fingerboard. This is just about, these new concepts that we want to incorporate and, establishing these really good habits. So we're going to take a G major scale. I'm going to do the 3-note per string version. So it's going to go like this. If you don't know it, it's just 3, 5, 7 on the low E string, 3, 5, 7 on the A, 4, 5, 7 on the D, 4, 5, 7 on the G, and then you go to the B string, which would be 5, 7, 8, and 5, 7, 8 on the high E. Now that's just our good old G major. So what are we going to do is we're going to play that scale again 3 different ways, focusing on 3 different techniques. So the one way I kind of already did, I alternate picked it. So you want to make sure when you're playing this, you're always starting with a down, down, up, down. Now what happens is, because it's 3 notes per string, when we change strings, our picking will be opposite. So now on the A string it'll be up, down, up, and then down, up, down, up, down, up, and so on and so on. So that is alternate picking. So you want to get to where you can alternate pick that one. Real comfortably without even having to think about it. You have that down. Now, the other one I want to do is economy picking. Now, this one's a little bit different. So our picking is going to go like this. If you watch my right hand, so alternate was this. Economy is this. So for the economy, we're going to go 3, 5, 7 on the low E, which is down, up, down. And we're going to start on the A string again with down. So you have 2 downs in a row. And the secret is not going like this. 2 individual movements, and you want those 2 downs to be 1 fluid down. So down, up, down, down. And you can use that technique all the way through it. And what helps a lot is I'm using kind of like my pick is tilted like this. I think it's what was it? Troy Grady calls it downward pick slanting. So when I'm going down, I guess technically ascending, I'm downward pick slanting. Okay. And that, like I said, that works on all the strings. Now, when I flip it around the other way, I take my pick. So this is how I was picking before. Sorry, I know it's not in focus, but down like this. And then when I flip it around the other way, if you watch my hand, I turn it, and I have an upward pick slant, which favors those 2 ups now. So, thank you, Troy Grady, for naming that, because I never knew what to call it. But anyway, so then when we descend, we have this. It's going to go 8, 7, 5, which would be up, down, up. 8, 7, 5 on the B, which would be up, down, up. Same kind of rule, rules apply. You want not 2 ups, but 1 fluid up through that. So if you're familiar with sweep picking, which is something that, we're not really going to get into that. It's very similar to that. It's like a small sweep. So you just want to do that one real slow. You don't have to be blazing through it. You just want to make sure that you're working on your technique, not moving your hand too much. Both hands, you want to kind of keep them in check. And like I said, if you watch your pick slanting, it helps a lot with, it cuts down on the resistance from the strings. And just like anything, like any kind of sport, practice, this is part of it. This is kind of, we're earning our stripes right now, getting those techniques. Now, the third one I'm going to do is all hammer-ons and pull-offs. So this is legato technique. So it's the same one. And this is why you can take something that you already know and practice it in a new way, and it makes it more challenging, and it just changes your thought process about it. So we're going to go like this, 3, 5, 7 again, but we're going to hammer on. So I'm only picking the first note of each string. Do it again on the A. D string would be 4, 5, 7. Through the whole scale. Don't bend that last note out of key like I like to do. So that would be the legato version of it. So 3 different techniques, all with one scale. Alright, so tip number 2, we're going to be changing keys here on you. We're going to go to E major just because I want to use this open low E string. And what it is practice things musically. You know, for technique stuff, I forgot to mention it, but, you know, using a metronome is extremely important. I highly recommend that. Practice that stuff to a metronome. And that's going to really help out building speed and technique and efficiency and stuff like that. But the other thing you can't forget is you need to practice musically. And I'm going to give you 2 different examples here. The first one is I'm just going to be playing a scale again, but what we're going to do is we're going to have an open low E string. So we have some kind of like note behind us, and you can put a rhythm to it if you want. So to me that's very musical. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing that open low E string. Now you don't have to do it quite like that if you want. You can just kind of play it open, or you can play a little rhythm like I did. And I'm just going through, in my eyes, you know, an E major scale. It's a Mixolydian shape if you're familiar with that, but I'm just going 12, 11, 9 on the high E string, 12, 10, 9 on the B, 11, 9, 8 on the G, 11, 9, 7 on the D and the A, and that's it, because we have our low E string open. So there's lots of different musical applications there with that one. And why I like that so much is because it gets us thinking rhythmically, and that's so crucial. So, you know, like I said, just practice that little bit of that scale right there over just that openly. And like I said, you don't have to put a rhythm to it at all. You can practice, or you can have all of your rhythm come from the rhythm, the lead that you're playing. So you can have this open. So, you know, the lead was much more rhythmic. And like I said, it's just challenging to think about that stuff. Alright, so on to number 3. So we're hopping back to G major. I know we're kind of jumping around in this one a little bit, but it's your vision of the fingerboard. Because I'll tell you what, one of the best things that ever happened to me was when I started visualizing the scales. And like I said, it's weird. Like you get to where you can visualize them, then it gets to where you don't need to visualize them anymore. If that makes any sense. At least that's how it's kind of worked for me. I've gotten to where it's weird. Like I guess you see them, but you just know what to play. But anyways, so we're going to go back to that G major scale, and I'm going to show you something that I did that drastically improved my vision. It's kind of like if you're looking at my guitar right now, and it was real blurry and you know, real dark, and you couldn't see anything. It's not the best situation. That's kind of how it is without knowing a lot of this stuff. You know, it makes it very difficult to play. So we're going to have our scale again, which I already went over, so I'm just going to play it real quick. And what we're going to do this is we're going to play it in octaves and in a different pattern. So the pattern that we're going to use is this. So it's the same scale we did before, but now we're going to change our thinking, our field of vision, and we're going to be looking at it differently. So we're going to go 3, 7, 5 on the low E. Same thing on the A. 4, 7, 5 on the D. 4, 7, 5 on the G. 5, 8, 7 on the B. And then 5, 8, 7 on the high. So that's our scale. Already we're looking at it differently, and this is exactly what we want. We don't want to play a scale. No one pays to go hear someone play a scale. They want you to play music, and to me that already sounds musical. So I could really apply that in a lot of places. Even like our little open thing we're doing. You know, I like the way that sounds already. So there's one thing you can do. Now the other thing is really taking apart your scale and doing your octaves. And this is how you can drastically improve, you know, your vision of just across the fingerboard. So we're going to go 3, 5, 7 on the low E and A. shift up now. So now we're going to go to the D string, but instead of just going down to the next part of the scale, we're going to do the octave of what we just played. We're going to play 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9 on the G. And don't worry, I'm actually going to do a full video on this approach, because when I teach this, a lot of people really like this. And this is like a little snippet of what a full video will be eventually. Now we're going to shift up again. You're going to go 8, 10, 12 on the B and high E. So we have... Look at how much of the fingerboard we're covering. And you can do the same technique thing that we did before, because it's still 3 notes per string, so you could do, hammer-ons and pull-offs. Whatever you want, you can alternate pick it. Really taking apart what you already know and expanding it. Now you could break apart each section of the scale, and this is what the video will be on, and do octaves, like with this part. Octave with this part. So there's a lot you can really do with that idea of just breaking apart your scale using the octaves and just kind of changing the pattern around a little bit. Alright, so number 4 is confidence and ear training. So I think both these really go hand in hand, because we've talked about all the the visualizing technique, stuff like that, and we got to mention the ear. Our ear is such an important tool to the grand scheme of all of this stuff, and when you piece all that stuff together, it results in confidence. Like, you can watch a player who plays very confidently. Like, I feel like I'm not the best guitar player, but I feel like I play confidently. Like when I grab the strings, I'm confident that I'm going to be able to play something at least hopefully halfway decent. That's always my goal, halfway decent. But like I said, I'm confident because of a lot of different reasons. One of them being, I've worked a lot on my technique. I've worked a lot on my visualizing of the fingerboard, and I've worked a lot on my ear. So there's no reason to not be confident. If you are putting in the time and effort to do this stuff, play confidently, So how do you build that confidence with your ear? Well, ear training. And although you can't see my face right now, what I want you to try doing is playing everything that we've done so far with your eyes closed. So I want you to play your scales with your eyes closed. But there's a little twist that I'm going to put onto it. So we have our G major scale. Eyes closed, right? Or some people like to turn the lights off in the room. And this really, really just makes you focus on hearing everything. I don't really care what picking technique you're using, but just play through it. Now, what I want you to do is, while your eyes are still closed, play it an octave higher. So... Okay, so that's moving up to our low E string. I'm going to say it right now, but when you're practicing it, so I'm going to go 15, 17, 19 on the low E and A. Then I'm going to go to the D string, and I'm going to go 16, 17, 19. And then I go to the B string, and it's 17, 19, 20. And that is our G major scale an octave higher. But that's not where I want you to stop. Then I want you to find, like I said, eyes are all still closed, find a G note on the A string. So if you have to use your open G for a reference note, do the same thing. Okay, so that's just good starting right here. 10, 12, 14, 10, 12, 14, 11, 12, 14, 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15. So right there, go to the D string, find a G note. Oops. Helps if I play the right notes. But, like I said, that is going to drastically improve your ear and just the confidence of knowing where you are. Because, you have these notes kind of locked in your vision and your fingers, and now they're in your ears. And number 5, the final thing that could potentially be holding back your playing is your vocabulary. Now, I don't mean how you speak, and I mean the words that you're using to talk about stuff, because I've run into my fair share of guitar players, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate, who like to throw around all kinds of big words, and they can't play anything. So I'm not worried about, if you can speak the language necessarily, but I want you to play the language. And what I mean by that is your vocabulary needs to be well-versed. Now, I've always just considered myself to be a rock guitar player, but it doesn't mean I haven't dabbled in quite a few different styles of music, and really just try to incorporate that stuff into my own style. Just like learning, you know, different players' solos and different rhythms and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you maybe a little something that you're not used to. So I'm going to give you a country rhythm versus a lead lick or something like that. And I want you to mess around with this. Now, if you're familiar with country music, then I don't know. maybe you don't know this riff. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go here. And that's our riff. You can throw whatever. Whatever kind of lick you want over top of it is cool with me. But here's our rhythm. And we're also incorporating a new technique. I'm doing some hybrid picking here. So I'm playing the open A string, and I play 2 on the D and G, so it's like an A5. And I pluck that with my middle finger and ring finger. And I do it open, then close it again. So open A string. Now I'm going to do a little harmony note here. I'm playing 5 on the D and 4 on the G. And I'm playing the open A string again, but I'm muting it. And I go to 4 on the D and 2 on the G. Open A again, and 2 on the D and G. And here's a little country twist. I'm just going 3 hammer on 4 on the A, and 2 on the G. Sorry, I apologize. I think my guitar went out of tune a little bit. Nope, just my ears. I'm just playing out of tune. And then basically we're gonna do the same thing again, but instead of ending with, we're gonna go big old bend on that 3rd fret low E string, country style, of course. Alright, that will be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed that lesson. Like I said, make sure you grab those tabs. Chilling down below. If you would, give this video a big old thumbs up. Let me know that you dug it. If you'd like to see more of these videos, let me know, man. I got all kinds of stuff happening that are working on, you know, sequels to videos that you guys are wanting. So you will be seeing all those very soon. Hope you all are having a great day, and I'll see you next time. Peace out and high five. I think I need to shave. Wow, I do. Later, guys.